Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, I like to use a very non-threatening, non-white color because usually if you use white, it's really difficult to have ideas for anything. So I like to turn on the texture. I'm using Infinite Painter, if you're wondering. And then I like to just make it a little paper cream color, right? I don't have to turn on the texture, but it feels nice. And then I'll usually like conceptualize with like Broco pencil, for example. And that texture. So I can pop that out. I can just do this, but it's so smooth. So if you're used to paper, it's a little distracting. Or if you like drawing on paper. So I turn on, this is canvas, but it works just as well, in my opinion. It's the texture that you're really looking for. Does it make any difference? Yeah, sure. If you look at this, see how it behaves. You see how that behaves. This is more solid. So this is actually following the texture. Why would I want to do that? Because I want it to feel more like paper. So I'm gonna do that for a while. So I'm just gonna so that's easy. I'm gonna do a quick run. Just edit here to edit what you're using. You're using something else. So I don't mind, since I'm already digital, I don't mind utilizing the tools available to me. So I will push that around if I have to. And then I'm going to use this kind of nose because I tend to like that nose. I don't always use these eyes, but currently I've got people who like using. For myself, I like to use these on my characters recently. So, or these. So medyo nag-move towards real. But some people are currently using these saucers. So, like, alright, sure. I'll humor you. Right. And then, so this is just a really quick example. It's not really going to be super accurate. Okay, sorry. I don't really like really big smiles. My characters have a tendency. Maybe because I don't smile a lot. Oops. So it's really awkward making a smiling character when you're not the kind of person who smiles a lot. So maybe I might do that. Probably not. So for this, I'm gonna go with parang ganyan. And then I flipped it so I can see that there is a problem. I'm gonna fix that on this side, which is what I was saying. No, it's okay. This is that I would have not used it. And then I'm just gonna, yan na isang sabi ni Sir. Umusap na mga mata. Uy, ano sinasabi? Chismis. Nanchichismis na mga mata. Kaya akala mo kung ano sinasabi, chismis na ba? nangyari. Sabi niya, no. So, yeah, man, diba? Okay na yan. Medyo. And then I like, I really like fuller lips. That's my thing right now. So I've got, you can tell that it's me because of the lips. Of course, you don't have to do that. I forgot to use it. This is an example. So, okay, of course, you don't have to do that. But yeah, if you get into it, talk to me. This is the thing I like right now. And then, I saw. Yeah. So, okay. And now I've got this thing. Now I'm gonna click that and see if it's working. Yeah, it is sort of. So I can actually move this a little to the left. On the eyebrows. So some, yeah, that way. So great. That's useful. Okay. Now, essentially, the idea is to transition you into digital if you want to, because a lot of the problems associated with digital is really texture, because it doesn't feel like paper. If you're coming from that perspective, these things help. You know, adding a little bit of texture. So, yeah, no, sorry, this is a really quick thing. Not really thinking about it, just getting stuff down. Like that. Okay, there you go. So medyo. Ayan. So this is the problem. You were using something similar to this. Same. So what her is okay. So this is already okay. Technically speaking, I can publish that as a whip. But I'm gonna redo that, which is why you don't like my style sometimes. Because I have a so I'm gonna use manga inker. Oops. And then I'm gonna do my line of and this one has so you can so this one is of course very clean. I can actually pop this out if I want. So the bugs one of those. I think I'm gonna use it for something else. A little bit annoying because I have it on my hands. I don't have it on the table. I have the tablet on my hands. Yeah, I could, but you know what? Make things difficult. Make things unnecessarily difficult. I flip that. Make sure that I'm still on flap. So yun naman yung benefit. That's one of the benefits, right? You can flip it. So I can make full use of that. And obviously this isn't gonna show. Like maybe you've got hair. So I'm just gonna shape that. Hair point. Yeah, technically, yeah, I do have actually sticky fingers. I just like to go first. I like my roughs to be rough. ngayon, wala na, tinamaan na rin. Sabi ko, steady ka dyan. No, I do have it on my hand. So, that's an extra challenge. Yes, I should, but it's like, yeah, extra layer of making things difficult for yourself. For yourself. Smaller. As well as okay, shaping your lines. Yeah, but I believe in equal opportunity. I mean, you're already going digital. You might as well make full use of the tools available. Although I turn off light straightening, so if you actually hindi ako naka-on. Hindi yung naka because that's why it's still fast if you notice. Turning line straightening on is going to make your line work slow because it's correcting you as you go along. So of course I don't do that, no matter is it right. Eventually, yeah, okay, yeah. To be fair, as you grow older, it's gonna be more difficult to do that. So yes, okay, that's fair. It's probably more useful as you get older to have the line straight. Yeah, right. Oh my god. Yes, I take it back. But when you're young, when you're young, I don't think you should depend on line straighteners when you're young. It's like you wanna exercise. So, sayang. It's like you're not gonna. You're going to start using a crutch. You're not gonna experience the joys of undo. Undo! 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 Tangina. Puro mali. Right? The joys of undo. Ah, why? Because I also still like to draw on paper. So you want the skill to do that degree. And if you depend on line straighteners, that skill will degrade. Yung stability, no lines. Syempre, you're no longer, you know, focusing so hard on doing your line straight. So, well, because I'm going out. I'm supposed to pop out, but I saw this person and I felt like that's my goal. So I'm just gonna correct it. Yeah. So just finer lines basically. And so of course you might like the rougher version more, but if you're coloring it anyway, you, it's going to be sauce dependent. So depending on the usage, this it's an example. It's not even the eye that I like, the eyes that I like to use. So they have options if they're like borrowing. So they're not completely borrowing. Medyo tabi Yep, alright. Ay! Hoy, bastos ka. Sometimes it does that. Mali. Portion. Yeah, because it's slightly similar. Yep. Kasi minsan, okay, there you go. And now I got whatever shit this is. With straight lines. Kasi you might be using rubs only because I haven't been doing this at all. Because I'm just mostly sketching. So, we also do fine lines, fine line work. I've just been doing a lot of other things. I'm so sorry. Magaan naman. So that sugar, then we pop this out. And now we have something. And I'm not gonna stick with that. I'm going to duplicate that because I want stronger lines. Put this up like 60%. So very minor difference makes it matters. So I could probably like pop this back in because of the way I'm coloring right now, but I don't have to. Now, if you don't like that, let's say you don't like this because I'm using, I prefer my shading, my line work to be not black because it distracts me. But let's say you want to change that into black. Turn on alpha lock, of course, and then let's just take paint roller and then get black, and then let's just paint over that. Also very useful if we're change that. So let's say I know. I've got say I'm gonna take base acrylic and then how about let's take something more solid. Just a little bit. I'm gonna take stuff all over. Yet you can tell that this is usually what I like. So I don't really talk about it. So let's try because I don't paint that. That's why. Brown one. Well, naghahanap ako sa mga styles na artists when I use that. I can paint brush over this, which is probably the same. So it doesn't really matter right now because we're just going to use this as a you're going to do something you do all the time, which is complain about why are you not following the lines? Because I want the stroke to be singular because it matters for this brush. Unless I'm going, this is a specific style, it doesn't work perfectly. Why did I do that in one stroke? Because if I place the next one, like wait, no. Because if I see, because if I lift my brush, you're gonna see it did that, which I don't want. So I'm just gonna blend that instead. I can blend that, but I'm lazy and it's inefficient. So I will. Oh, sorry. That's okay. So because if I do that, see, you can tell, which is good if we're doing paint early. That's very useful. But if we're painting the way some of them paint right now, which is in flat solid colors with basic shading, I'm gonna do it this way because this covers. It's the same reason you use a large brush. It covers ground faster. And then I'm gonna remove that. And this is not something you do with traditional painting. So this is going to be annoying to you until you realize this is actually fast. Or you do a fill, but then I like doing brush strokes. I find it relaxing. The moment I start using marquee tools and pen tools, I get pulled out of the experience of painting. It stops feeling like painting to me. It begins to feel mechanical, and I kind of don't want to do that. I'm still doing it as a form of relaxation. So as much as possible, I like still use brush strokes. So why did I do that? I don't want the overlaps for the colors for the strokes of color. don't want you to see those unless again unless I'm doing painter, in which case I don't care. I would use those. But not for this. This is not the style. That's not the style that you're using. This is also not the style that I'm currently using. But this is a style that a lot of people use. So, and we're very flexible. So, fine. This is faster anyway, sort of, because I just remove the white. Or you can think of it as coloring white. These colors. Okay, so now I have that, and then I put uh, my shading. So I put this under multiply. This is multiply, and let's lay down a magenta. So this is of course going to be too much. That's a little bit much, so we're going to put this down 30% more or lower. And then we map the light. So let's assume that the light is going from here. Oh no, we can't because I'm not going to go on top of that. So this is great. Last one natin, babaan naman natin. So my brush is a little bit no, this oops. No, not as good. Sorry. But there are people who can do it. So this is going to be from this is a very solid way of coloring, which is currently what a lot of people or prefer. I say that because that's not what I'm doing, but it's okay. what I'm doing is something a bit practical. The purposes of other people or for other people's purposes. So, medyo ganyan. I've got shadow very solid colors, not shade, not nothing that like if you're wondering why we're doing it this way. That's another area would get dark. shadow, and probably yeah, we have to think in terms of stripes as well. So those things are not kaso yun, I'm in danger of going bigger. Simplify that. Okay, so yeah, and wala pang color yun here, but you can already map the light. So it's there's stuff. So I know yeah, this is a very generic sword. Really. It's not very, yeah, it's not very powerful, but it does the job. A lot of most people don't really a lot of so yeah. Okay. And now I've got that. So that's a decent starting shade for hair. It doesn't really describe because if we went into detail, we still dig into that because there would be more shaded areas. But we're gonna keep it simple because I need to go out. And so honest. So, yeah, well, it's true. So it's okay. I like to make it work. Yeah, because when I'm painting, there would be a lot of smudging, because the way it works. Okay, so medyo just a little bit of shadow where it's not much. And then yeah, that works. And then I'm going to make a sort of last one. I'm gonna do an overlay layer or a soft light layer. We're going to decide make a warm color. So it's probably going to be a soft light first. So that's the overlay layer. And then let's switch that to soft lights. Yeah, it's gonna be soft light. It's always soft light, but yeah, cold springs eternal. So that's gonna be my highlight layer for little things. I could do overlay if I wanted it to be punchier, like it's they're in sunlight, they're outside. But let's say it's a softer sort. So then I can switch over just hit the areas that would normally give some sun. That's okay. Just shake don't be afraid to utilize digital tools. Sometimes peer development tools that are available to us. Like, oh, why are you shaving? Yeah, well, you know, it's available. So you're gonna undo anyway. You might as well use a tool that's really there. Save your elitism for later. Although I do have my own brand of elitism. Like, why am I doing slopes? Right? Why am I not using a pen tool? I could be using a pen tool, but I like this. The little painting actions. So I'm gonna put this. Inabayin. Inabayin. So medyo malatang ako. Not too much. Not too much. Medyo this one right. Yeah, essentially, yeah. We're describing how light would be touching these words. Konti lang. So, hindi masyado. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya frontal yung light. So, basta. Depende kung ano yung gusto mo. But yeah, for the purposes of what we're doing, usually, that's right. And then, we're gonna be doing lazy. And then, there's also the shoulders. It's going to get a little bit. Anyway. Nice. I got a mochi. Okay. Reminder, do not do this while when you are in a rush and not go. Ayan, so okay, anyway, that's a very decent starting point for your coloring. It's a more than half decent starting point for your coloring. And then I'm going to get the hair in. So you make it a little orange. Oh my God. So, alright. So then again, I'm gonna make it larger. So my strokes. So medyo heta. I know, right? No, it's not heta. It's lazy. It's not the same. So I'm going to. Oh, akita, gumen. I thought you said heta. Pwede rin. Pwede rin. Heta, diba? Pwede rin, pwede rin. So, yeah, it's taking shape. Again, I'm doing the same thing I did earlier, which is describe the shape as quickly as possible so I can spend more time with the finer details. Get this out of the way. And then remove just those lines. Because this is faster. It works faster. While still shows. So hindi, yeah, disclaimer, I don't paint this way. I usually do something a little more painterly, but I understand that not everybody is interested in doing that. You do, kasi medyo ka-R&D ako. So this is a thing I like to do at the style of videos. I know when people need it, or when people need it, give them a sword, a random sword, because they don't have a random sword that's gonna get them somewhere. Like, sometimes R&D isn't very good for mainstream because it's R&D. You're not gonna get hired everywhere from when you're using an R&D sword because they're gonna be like, that's not what we're using right now. Yeah, well. Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate. No, not there. Of course, it still requires skill. Everything requires skill. There's, it's a domain that requires skill. Yung sa akin kasi I can switch because I actually did go to fine arts. It's really just a tool, but I decide what to, I want to use. And when I'm doing R&D, I kind of this way. But this is faster. So this is what I like to see. Okay, so now I've got that, and you can sort of see the issues I have with the hair, right? So I'm gonna go back there, work on some of the sorts. But again, this is just basically this random sort of hair straps. So I don't have to do this. this right now, but yeah, I'm just showing you what I would be doing. Because it's not gonna be a huge chunk of nothing. Okay, so now we can see that I can go darker, but the face isn't gonna agree with me. So what we're gonna do in this case is I'm going to pop the face multiplier, the face multiplier, and the hair multiplier. And then erase. Why am I doing that? Because I want to darken the multiply layer of the hair, but not on the face. And I did them on the same layer. So I kind of just need to remove the whole face. This out, get close. Okay. And now we can manipulate this little bit darker. Well, I'm not gonna go that far. I'm gonna say I can go if I want. But I'm gonna push it over to 30. Right? And then it's still there. Or actually 20. Okay, then. Kasi may basic layers. So this is what it would look. This is what it looks like normally. And then because I duplicated that, it's a little brighter. So it's about 50%, which is nice. Okay, and then let's go back to the soft lighting. And now I can describe the way the light looks this way. But this might benefit from overlays. I'm gonna check. No, it's still so okay. So this is tedious and requires more patience than I have right now. So, but you know what? You get what I'm trying. So we're using whatever tools are exposed to create the effects that we want to see. So cutting out bits of light. A lot of it is in the way you see things. So then you have to know what you want the light to do in that situation. So medyo lot of digging into a lot of repetitive stuff that you can already see in order to see what I'm doing, how I'm doing. So just under 1 hour, still have to go. Sorry. Yeah. So it's yellow, but I don't have to keep it yellow. I can move towards yellow is useful here kasi orange yung hair niya. But if I made it hard light, then it moves towards white or vivid light moves to brighter in your light. So I'm gonna do soft light. Okay naman ako sa soft light. If I wanted to punch up a little bit more, um, I'm going to add another layer instead. So hindi sa, para meron tayong gradation. So I'm gonna do a layer with, let's say, a vivid light layer. And then you get into the areas where you got little punches of light. For this. So there's not a lot. There's not a lot of that. So ilan lang except for areas like this, because of course that's walls. It's it's a neighborhood layers. Layers and layers and layers. So if I had more time, I could show you that. But yeah, essentially, that's what we're doing. That's what you're doing. Wala pang mata. Wala pang mata. Good job. Wait. Any? Wait. So, yeah, I like to make it isa syempre medyo konti lang because I was depends for this one. So, yeah, that's not great. When in a bite. So, pang-baragan yung sa kung nagmamadali. But, we can go faster. We can go faster. What is this? For the purposes of this discussion. Ayan. Ay, lumita ko yung tawag na. That's where this is at right now. And then let's say I'm not really a big fan of the shade of my hair, so I'm going to move that a little bit. into slightly further there you go. It's not too much. Yon. So the point is, I should minor. There's a rogue stove. The point is very straight lines. You don't need to do the same thing. So I'll give you another example. There's what's the old one thing that this one. I straight yeah. So this dude, which was fun to me. But the lines are still straight. The guy isn't, but the lines are still. The guy isn't, but the lines are very straight. I don't have to do it this way. I can use finer lines, but this style that I'm trying to utilize at the moment, uses that method that I just showed you. It's the same thing. Let me just, sorry. It's the same. It's the same style. Alright, we're gonna stop there. Thank you.